Prior to the surgery, I knew I was sensitive to carbohydrates, but I did not know how sensitive my ass really was. Sidebar and moment of complete transparency. One of the myths that they share, that's that I heard, which is a lie, about these types of plastic surgeries. When you have surgery in those places, you do not gain weight in those places where the fat is removed. That is a fucking lie. Hi, I am Jenny. Welcome to my channel. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I do a lot of different things. There are some changes happening. Excuse me. Pretty soon. Actually, right now, some changes that I've already put in place. I I'm committing to this channel. I really am. I'm committing. I wasn't committed. I would kind of go back and forth. That's a Jennifer thing. I don't have to share too much about that, but I'm committing to my channel. So, one of the things that I do plan on changing is my name. I don't know. Right now, I recently changed it to Jenny Jen Jen. However, I don't know if I want to keep that or change it to Jenny Jones. So, Jenny Jones is my actual name. So, I really can change it to that. However, I'm not really sure. I'm kind of torn between the two. So, leave a comment of what the one you prefer. Leave me a suggestion, and I'll take it into consideration. All right, so today I'm going to be talking about how my eating has changed since I've had this surgery. If you've been watching me for a while, or if you're new to my channel, recently I had a procedure called ABX, which is a tummy tuck alternative. What they do is remove the fat from my midsection, yeah, and in my back area, and they removed the excess skin from my stomach, and so there was no muscle repair with that. It was just fat removal and skin removal, and I had that in July, I think. Yeah, it was July when I had that surgery, and it's May, so yeah, we're pretty close to a year, and so one of the things I do want to just acknowledge that this healing process is definitely going to be longer than the 1 year that I was told. And I'm pretty okay with that. It's been a journey. And so I want to share my experience with everyone because I was grossly unprepared for this journey. So go back and look at those previous videos, that I posted when I first started, just kind of sharing my experience about what happened um, when I initially had the procedure done. Yeah, go back and look at those. If you're thinking about having this procedure done, please, because one thing that they tell you when you leave is that you don't have any food restrictions, and that is such a fucking lie. It's unreal. So let's talk about it. One of the things I realized about my body is that I'm very, 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 very carb sensitive. Okay. To the point that any small amount of carbs that's not the good carbs, because there are complex carbs and there's simple carbs. So, just for instance, I can't eat any type of simple carbs. I'm not able to eat breads. Well, I've removed those things from my diet outside of my cheat days, because I do work out quite a bit. And I'll share maintenance and my fitness journey a little bit later. That's another video. But right now, I want to talk about eating. I cannot eat whatever I want. Prior to the surgery, I knew I was sensitive to carbohydrates, but I did not know how sensitive my ass really was. Sidebar and moment of complete transparency. One of the myths that they share, that I heard, which is a lie. about these types of plastic surgeries. When you have surgery in those places, you do not gain weight in those places where the fat is removed. That is a fucking lie. That's a lie. Yeah. 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 One thing I did not want to do is spend this money for this surgery, spend that amount of money, because I hate wasting money. I really do. I did not want to spend that amount of money for the procedure and then not see the results that I wanted to see when it came to how I wanted my body to look. So I noticed that any type of simple carbs that I ate, even if I eat a sandwich or eating some toast, I'm from the South, so waking up and having a biscuit with some sausage and a hash brown is nothing. I can't eat shit like that no more. My eating has completely changed. And that and salt. I do want to make sure that I mention that I cannot have salt, high salt at all when I go out, which I rarely do. And it's typically on my cheat days because I eat a lot at home. I cook all of my meals at this point outside of my cheat day meals. When I go out, I don't add salt to anything that I am served because I know it already has a lot of sodium in it. Let me tell you how you will. I blew the fuck up like a balloon once I had too much salt, and I had a hamburger. I can't remember. It don't matter where I was, and I love pickles on my burgers. Can't eat pickles at all. Cannot have them. The way my stomach was so big. I'm trying to find a nice way to say it, but my stomach was huge and my hands had swollen up. I did not have my legs didn't swell. I know some people have an experience with, I think it's lymphedema where your legs swell up. I didn't have that experience, but this one experience was salt, and that was when I first had the procedure done. I could really tell I had started to where the compression, I was deflating really well, but then when I had that hamburger with those pickles on it, I looked like I was back at month two, and I mean, yeah, I think I had that burger pretty early on. I can't remember. The timeline is messy. Okay, I just remember the results of what happened after I ate those pickles, and it affected me a lot. So of course I had to drink a lot of water, which is something that they tell you you have to do. And please be mindful that your water intake is very important, especially if we're talking about draining our lymphatic system. Honey, you have to have it. I don't even drink sodas, and which, prior to having this surgery, I was preparing my body for the surgery. So I was already drinking a lot of water and eating somewhat okay, but I realized that I was doing myself a huge disservice by still kind of like, oh, I'm gonna eat good, but then I'm not gonna eat good. And so I had to in this surgery, after this procedure, just really kind of get committed. Not kind of, I had to commit to myself when it came to my eating. And I realized that I cannot eat carbohydrates, the simple carbs. So even the breads that say that they are carb smart, I don't eat those because I noticed that I was still having the same issues that I was having. I was still gaining weight. I gained a little bit of weight, and I'm like, what the hell? No, we must fix that. So, what I started doing was what everybody has always suggested, is what the doctors tell you to do, is what anybody that is a fitness person, your personal trainers and things like that, what they tell you to eat. I literally changed and I'm seeing the results. Well, I'm maintaining my body. I eat fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, fresh meats, including seafoods, and a lot of protein. And that's it. I don't eat sandwiches or pizza or any of those things outside of a cheat day. And that's once a week or every 2 weeks, depending on how busy I am and how much time I'm able to spend in the gym. So if I'm not able to get at least my hour and 30 in the gym 4 days out of the week, then and if, because I'm really busy outside of this, I have a lot of projects, different projects that I'm participating in, and things that I'm doing to grow, and seeds I'm planning for my future. And so sometimes I'm really not able to go and spend a long time in the gym. So if it's one of those weeks where I'm able to just do like a 45-minute workout, excuse me, in the gym, those 4 days, or even I have to lose a day, I don't have a cheat meal, because I just don't. I feel like I haven't earned it. But that's just me, because when I do my cheat meals, it's always something that I'm going to enjoy, and it's never healthy. So I don't want to, anyway. So a typical day, because I do take in a lot of protein, so a typical day my eating is I have a protein snack as well as a protein shake. And another thing that I've done was taking snacks, those sugary snacks, as well as those chips and stuff like that. I've taken that completely out of my diet, but I have substituted. Um, there are a lot of good protein snacks nowadays that I've actually substituted those unhealthy snacks with protein options. And so Quest makes a really good cracker. So I love their cheese crackers. I'll get a protein pop shart. What the fuck? I'll do a protein shake and a protein pop tart. Legendary makes some really good protein pop tarts, as well as cinnamon rolls. And so I'll do one of those for breakfast, and have some fruit, and maybe even some of those Quest crackers as a snack. I don't really eat. I eat a lot of small meals, but I don't eat full meals, if that makes sense. And so, again, I have the protein shake and whatever snack I want. Go to the gym, come home, have another shake, and then I eat a meal. And then after that, before I go to bed, if I'm still hungry, I'm definitely going to eat some fruit or one of those protein snacks. So I'm taking in a lot of protein. That's what they told me was needed, um, to make sure that the body heals properly. And I'm realizing, in order to build muscle and to function when I'm doing my workouts, I need my protein. Okay. I need my protein. Okay. And so, another thing that I wanted to remind you guys about is collagen. So, I take in a lot of collagen. I know that one of the Monica at Muscle Relaxers was telling me sometimes you can have that saggy skin after you have these surgeries, and it's because we're not taking in a lot of collagen. Now, before I had this procedure done, I was taking collagen in, and eating. Well, no, I wasn't eating a lot of things with collagen, but I was just taking in like the vitamins and the nutrients. That's something you're going to make sure you need to make sure you have your proper vitamins and nutrients every single day. And it doesn't need to just come from your food. It needs to, you need to be taking a multivitamin, because that's what's going to, help your lymphatic system flow and be healthy. Anyway, so collagen is very important. You can have some saggy skin, which can affect your results. And I just I don't like wasting money. I don't. So I was very mindful of what she said. I also have a massager to help tighten, and I do that for my whole body to tighten my skin. And so, but collagen is very important. I take, and it's going to sound weird. I'm sorry, something is in my eye. It might sound a little bit weird, but it's what I do every day. I don't boil beef bones every day, but I boil beef bones, and and then I drink the broth from those bones. And yeah, I get them at my local the bones from my local farmer's market, and I just boil them and let whatever the juice, because that's the only way I know how to describe it. From the bones. And I boil them for like hours, and I drink that. But before I drink it, I do pour bovine grass-fed collagen into powder into that, as well as the multi peptide collagen powder into that. So I'm taking three different types of collagen at one time, which, I started doing this maybe a couple of months ago, and I'm noticing a change in my body, and it's something that, it does not taste good, but for the greater good, I think it's gonna stay. It'll stick around. So, those that is my eating. You know, it definitely is a thing. I have to be very consistent. I notice that if I slack in any area with my eating, that there's I noticed a little bit of change, and I'm really big on my body right now. So I have one of those. When I go out with my friends. Let me go back and say that I'm really big on making sure I'm maintaining my body. Sorry. And so, it's a lot of stuff that I've taken out of my diet. And I'll be honest, years ago when people, before I had the mindset that I have now in reference to, my physical health, when people would go out, when I would go out with my friends and they were like, oh, I don't eat that. Oh, I can't have that. Oh, that's too many calories. I used to be like, bitch, why are you with us if you're not going to eat? You should be out enjoying yourself. Don't nobody want to hear that. However, now I'm that person. And I know I annoy the fuck out of my friends, but the truth is, I that's a form of commitment. I have to be committed to this change, and in order to commit, I have to say, and a part of committing is saying knowing what I can and cannot have, and the reality is a lot of stuff I've had to take out of my diet, and I'm okay with it because I feel like it's a small sacrifice for the greater good, and a lot of that stuff I didn't really need anyway. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and come back. I'm so thankful to have you as my viewer. I hope that you guys have a really, really, really good day. Join me in my next video where I'll be talking about, um, I'll show the progress with my body. I'll show you guys my stomach and things like that, as well as talk about my fitness routine. So be on the lookout for that. Have a good day, guys. Bye.